Well, hello, I'm afraid it's drone hysteria / idiot man once again here. I was alerted to a Facebook group by a UK company called HolidyExtras. And if you've not heard of them, HolidyExtras are a place that book things like, well, we've used them previously for airport parking or airport hotels and things like that. Anyway, these jokers came out with the most ridiculous post a few days ago. The headline here is they appear to have commissioned some sort of survey. We don't know the details here other than there's about 1,000 respondents and 1 in 5 of them wanted a ban on drones. Which of course means that 4 out of 5 of them didn't want a ban on drones. But HolidyExtras decided that in response to this overwhelming amount of people wanting to ban drones, i.e. not many, that they should propose that nobody should be allowed to fly a large drone, and by this we mean over 250 grams, unless they've got a commercial license or they've gone and passed an in-person test. Well, this triggered me, so I had to reply to it. I mentioned the lack of evidence behind Gatwick, the fact that registration doesn't solve the problem of criminals doing criminal things. I also asked them if they were going to get behind the flat earth theory or anti-vaccine campaigners, as they only had 1 in 5 people calling for a ban. This report from Forbes suggests that 1/3 of Americans don't believe that the earth is a sphere. And more worryingly, a post from immunizeusa.com cited that only 71% of Americans think it's very important to get their children vaccinated. Their answer annoyed me more. Not just because they spouted more crap and didn't answer my comments. It was mainly because they stuck a smiley at the end. I mean, what the f*** is a smiley doing there? To me, it's a bit like suffixing something really offensive with the words "no offence" at the end. You're ugly and I hope you die soon. No offence. Anyway, I was going to let this go because there was comment after comment on the Facebook page from people saying much the same as me. And I struggled even to find a vague show of support. I thought, haha, that serves you right for being all clickbaity and trying to jump on the drone hysteria wagon. But no, they followed up with a campaign video. Shall we have a watch?
Hi, my name's John and I work here at HolidyExtras.
Hi John. Nothing too controversial so far.
And part of my role is flying the HolidyExtras drones. And of course I'm qualified and I'm certified by the Civil Aviation Authority as a drone pilot.
Ah, okay, that explains why the Inspire's there. Although I'm not sure that sitting it on the sofa is the recommended way to store it. They look like they're cozying up, ready to watch a rom-com or something.
Now, as many of you will be aware, drones have hit the headlines for all the wrong reasons lately. Sightings of them has closed down Gatwick and Heathrow airports here in the UK, as well as other airports around the world. Now, the potential for drones to close airports hasn't gone away.
No, the potential hasn't gone away, but there's no evidence of any drones. The potential to close an airport by simply picking up a telephone and making a false drone report seems like the easy way to close an airport right now.
So we put out a poll to you, our customers, asking what you thought should be done about them. And we asked 1,000 of you. The results said that 52% of you want to see drones limited to use only by qualified operators, and a further 21% of you want to see a complete ban.
52%, that's a higher number than this 1 in 5 or 20-ish% that he was talking about, the ban on all drones. But what was the question? How was it phrased? I'm worried because they make the comparison in a response to me about unlicensed drone a bit like unlicensed drivers, and flying a quad in a field with no people is very different than someone who doesn't know how to drive a car taking it on a motorway where he can actually cause death to multiple people. So forgive me if I smell a hint of question bias here.
And a surprising number of you seem to want to shoot them down with a shotgun as well. But it was very interesting to see what you thought.
This is actually pretty typical. By putting up the most hysterical and ridiculous comments, they can come across as the easygoing middlemen with a sort of measured solution to it.
So the UK government will be introducing new legislation, and this is an attempt to tackle the problem of drone misuse. It'll give the police increased powers that mean they can seize, land or inspect your drone, as well as search your property if they've got a warrant under the suspicion of misuse.
Yep, covered already, same old, won't stop the criminals, they just won't register.
There'll also be a mandatory online competency test that all drone pilots must take before they fly their machine. Now, whilst it's good to see that action is being taken, we feel that it really should go a step further and stop people flying large drones near airports.
Okay, now hold on, because this is where John gets a little bit bat crazy in his ideas.
So to achieve that, we're calling for, firstly, the online competency test to be scrapped and replaced with an in-person drone theory test. That, as the name suggests, has to be attended in person to ensure the correct individual is taking it.
An actual in-person drone theory test. Is he mental? They haven't even sorted out how they're going to do the online testing yet. And here's he suggesting that we're going to have sort of a series of regional based testing centres all ready for people to come in and sit a drone exam. How much is that going to cost? And let's be clear, on a theory test, there's not that much to know. It's all about how far you need to be from people, buildings, cars, how far you're allowed to go, how high you're allowed to go, how close to an airport you need to be. I would struggle to come up with more than 10 questions in any sort of theory test about drones.
Number 2, drones over 250 grams should be sold via specialist suppliers only and removed from high street chains and online general retailers. These specialists would only be permitted to supply a drone to a person that can provide their in-person drone theory test pass.
Okay, is this an April Fool? No, hang on, it's March, isn't it? What? Just how on earth do you intend to have that enforced? I mean, sure, you could stop drones being sold in retail stores. There's going to be some legislation there, but online sales of what? Are you somehow suggesting that we could legislate to stop any component that potentially could be used in a drone? This would involve any motor or any microprocessor. So Arduinos, you're not allowed those. Motors, I don't care if they're for your car or it's a fan or whatever. Those could be used in a drone. And what, Raspberry Pis? Get all those out of school. They could be used in drones. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And of course, a theory test doesn't mean you can use them responsibly. It means you can answer about 10 multiple choice questions of stuff you should be doing. John whitters on and on then about stopping impulse buying, all that stuff. That you can watch the full video. I'll link it down below.
So these are our ideas, and we'd really love to hear what you think about this or your views in general.
Fine. I think you're a complete f***wit. No offence. So aside from Holiday Extras coming up with absolute rubbish here, I think there's a more interesting question about the types of people that are feeding into the hysteria and basically trying to make recreational flyers look bad. Obviously the media made us public enemy number 1 over Gatwick, even though there were no drones. But the next biggest enemy of the recreational flyer doesn't seem to be the public. It seems to be the commercial UAV pilots. Now, before I get lynched, I just better clarify what I mean by that. In my opinion, there's 2 types of UAV pilot. There's the guy that got into it after flying recreationally in a hobby. He saw an opportunity, he saw a way to make his living from it, and he kind of knows what's going on. He's gone through the whole hobby stuff. He's earned his wings, as it were. And then there's the other ones, and I think these are the problems. They tend to come from either a photography background where they've kind of just wound up saying, oh, maybe I could put my camera up in the sky with a drone, or they are literally some guy in a company who's told, hey, you're going to be a drone pilot now, go along to this residential course for a week and come back and fly this thing up there and inspect that whatchamacallit. And these people, I would say, haven't earned their wings, to use that phrase. As far as they're concerned, a drone is this single complete unit. You buy it as one thing. There's no concept of being able to purchase parts separately or build it. In fact, other than the little toy drones they think are fine for children to fly in their garden, there's usually no concept of flying anything that isn't equipped with a free access gimbal, GPS hold position with an HD downlink to your tablet. And there's really nothing to flying these. Take your hand on the controller, it'll just sit there in the sky and not do anything. If you're feeling lazy, press the button, it'll come back and land on the spot. Any idiot can fly them, and it looks like he does. So yeah, I get a mite bit annoyed when these people suddenly decide they're the world's leading authority on drone safety based on the fact they've paid a couple of grand to do a course and get a nice stamp in the book so they can fly commercially. And I'm making a guess here that John falls into the latter type. He doesn't really go into his background, but a quick look on his LinkedIn entry suggests he was a photographer and went the sort of press route and then got into drones through there. So John, perhaps you ought to try flying a race quad or a wing or a collective 3D pitch heli before you'll lump us in with idiots like you, and then we'll talk. So my other problem with this is I get the feeling it might be just a huge clickbait operation. John is telling his bosses right now that his social media posts are getting a huge amount of customer interaction. Obviously he's not telling them it's all negative interaction, but any interaction means that Holiday Extras is getting talked about. He might even suggest it starts trending soon and they'll be saying, great work John, keep at it. Well, I certainly know where I'll be reconsidering where I'm going to be booking my airport hotels in future. But anyway, if you want to tell them how you think it is, links are down below. Feel free to give them your opinion, because I'll certainly be giving them mine. In the meantime, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't, and click on the little bell icon in the corner. I'm getting really fast at that now. Rant over. I feel slightly cleansed. I'll catch you in the next one, which will hopefully involve flying stuff. Bye for now. Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.